This is a story of murder, arson, and 2 missing girls. On December 29th, 1999, high school friends Loria Bible and Ashley Freeman of Welch, Oklahoma spent the evening together celebrating Freeman's 16th birthday. Bible had received permission from her parents to spend the night at the Freeman home, with her father stating he told her, "You need to be home by noon the following day." At approximately 5:30 in the morning on December 30th, 1999, a passing motorist called 911 reporting that the Freeman home was engulfed in flames. Law enforcement determined the fire had been an arson. Inside the home, the charred remains of Kathy, which was Ashley's mom, were discovered lying on the floor of her bedroom. But the cause of death, she had been shot in the head. Initially, no other remains were located, leading local law enforcement to extrapolate that Ashley's father, Danny Freeman, had slain his wife and fled with both of the girls. Bible's vehicle was parked outside in the driveway of the home with the keys still in the ignition. The next day, on December 31st, Bible's parents, Lorraine and Jay, returned to the scene hoping to find any additional clues that law enforcement may have missed. While walking around the extensive rubble, they discovered what appeared to be the shape of another human body, and upon looking closer, notified the police. The second body was determined to be that of Danny, the father. Like his wife, he had also been shot in the head execution style. Following this discovery, the crime scene was re-examined, yet no sign of Bible or Freeman were found. In 2010, the rest of the Freeman family initiated court proceedings to have Ashley declared legally dead. In a 2001 profile on Unsolved Mysteries, it was mentioned that rumors had been circulating among locals that the Craig County Police Department had been feuding with the Freemans at the time over the death of their son, Shane, who was shot by a deputy after stealing a car. While his death was ruled justifiable, the Freemans had threatened to file a wrongful death lawsuit. Danny's brother, Dwayne, claimed that Danny had confided that deputies had tried to intimidate him. Getting kind of spicy there. In April 2018, it was reported that Ronnie Dean Busick, then aged 66, had been arrested and charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder in connection with the deaths of Bible and the Freeman family. 2 other, albeit deceased suspects, were named as well. Warren Philip Welch II, known as Phil, who died in 2007, and David Pennington, deceased in 2015. According to the Washington Post, at least a dozen witnesses claimed all 3 men bragged about graping and murdering Bible and Freeman and having taken Polaroid photographs of them. Several witnesses alleged that the 3 men killed the Freemans over drug money, and that the girls were held captive in Welch's trailer for several days before being murdered. A female witness who lived with Welch a short time after the disappearances provided a sworn affidavit that she, quote, heard conversations between the 3 men where they disclosed that the murder victims had owed them money, and that Welch kept a briefcase containing the Polaroid photos which showed both girls, bound and gagged with duct tape, laying on a bed, with Welch lying next to the girls in some of the photographs. According to the affidavit, Welch, Pennington, and Busick had claimed to have raped and tortured the girls before disposing of their remains in a pit or mine shaft. Some sort of hole in the ground. Gotcha. Law enforcement also stated that they believed the girls' remains have been dumped in a cellar that was later covered in concrete. Why would they assume that? That's really strange. It doesn't say that someone said that. I don't know. That train needs to quit his toot-toots. In a public address, the Bible family issued a statement in which they stated they had been aware of the alleged photographs for years, and that at this time, all focus is on finding Loria and Ashley. All information leading to their discovery is welcome. Until they are home with us, this will never be over, stated the Bible family. After his arrest, Busick told reporters he wished to speak to the Bibles. Weird. On April 26, 2018, Bible's mother, Lauren, it's got an E at the end. I've never seen it spelled that way. Could be Lorraine, could be Lorraine, maybe Lauren, I don't know. Confirmed she spoke with Busick, but that he denied knowing the whereabouts of her daughter or Freeman. Why did he want to talk to them then? Just to be like, oh, good luck. Feel like there's something missing there. Busick pled guilty July 15th, 2020 to being an accessory to the first-degree murder in the deaths of Danny and Kathy Freeman, the torching of their home near Welch, Oklahoma, and the abduction and presumed slaying of the two girls. He admitted having withheld information about the involvement of Welch and Pennington. He was sentenced to 15 years for the crime, 10 of those years to be spent in prison, plus 5 years of probation. That is a very light sentence. Holy guacamole, that is a light sentence. Wow. The Oklahoma Department of Corrections had said Busick was considered a level 4 prisoner, i.e. he was known for being respectful to the prison staff and following their orders, while staying to himself and not being known as a problematic inmate. Furthermore, a level 4 inmate does not already have an extensive criminal history beyond their current conviction, despite Busick having criminal convictions dating back to the 80s. Whoa, what kind of strings did he pull? Busick received 60 credits / month. I don't know how prison works, so. Or 2 days worth of credit for every day served. Wait, so he only has to serve half? Is that what that means? Inform me in the comments. Plus the credit for time he served in jail. Ultimately, Busick's positive track record while behind bars led to an early release for good behavior. He was released on May 19th, 2023, having served just 38 months of his 10-year sentence. Oh my lord. On to the next part, media coverage. The disappearances of Bible and Freeman were profiled on America's Most Wanted in 2000 and on Unsolved Mysteries in 2001. The case was later featured on the series Vanished with Beth Holloway in 2013. It was profiled on the documentary series Disappeared on Investigation Discovery. In September 2018, one of the main witnesses in the case against Ronnie Busick, as well as the cold case investigators who filed the charges, gave their first interviews to the Tulsa World for a special report. The case was featured in a new 4-part series on HLN titled Hell in the Heartland, starting June 2nd, 2019, which hoped to shed more light on the disappearances of the girls and the main suspects. The show was hosted by the creator of the show and crime writer Jax Miller, who also wrote a book on the girls' disappearances. Interesting. Released in July 2020, it is titled Hell in the Heartland, Murder, Meth, and the Case of Two Missing Girls. So I guess that's the drug of hand that they mentioned earlier. So, good to know. On to our missing person portion. So we have, as usual, we have 3 missing people from the state in which the case is from. Missing person number 1, Rhett Allen. White male, 145 pounds, brown hair, around 5'9", would now be about 37 years old, was last seen March 3rd, 2021, just before 1 p.m. His truck was locked with his personal effects found within the truck and his residence. Okay, so no motive of thievery? Stealing? Yes. If you know any information on the whereabouts of Rhett Allen, please contact the Durham non-emergency line at 919-560-4600. That was the closest town I could find a phone number for, because it's like really dinky town. So that again is 919-560-4600. Missing person number 2, Tarina Winslet. White female, around 220 pounds, gray or partially graying hair. We all know we can dye our hair, so don't go by that. Height about 5'3", would now be around 59 years old. Was last seen on April 10th, 2019. If you know any information on the whereabouts of Tarina Winslet, please contact the Lawton Police Department at 580-581-3270. Our final missing person is JC Kewekla, American Indian and Alaskan Native, female, around 115 pounds with brown hair, 5'2", and would now be around 35 years old. She was last seen on April 7th, 2008, being dropped off by her sister at a job orientation at Kmart. If you know any information on the whereabouts of JC Kewekla, please contact the Lawton Police Department at 580-581-3270. As always, stay safe. If you know something, say something. Even if it's something small, it could save a life, it could help someone, or it could help someone's family find closure. Thank you so much and have a good day. Bye!